Good evening, good evening. How are we today?
Very good.
Very good. Just wait for anyone else to come. Just wait another 2 minutes. All right, beautiful. Well, let's just start. All right, so welcome to session 2 of the Design Kickstart. So let's commence. So you guys learnt in week 1 the design fundamentals. Now on to week 2 about color and typography. There's going to be a big lesson tonight, so there's a lot to really draw in from tonight. So let's not waste any time. Let's get straight into it. And please, if you guys have Instagram or Facebook, yeah, please, well, more Instagram, please, yeah, share on your story and go and at me on your story so you can get some following going. Oh, we got another person in. Beautiful. You're in good time. So I'm going to ask, what makes a good design? Anyone like to answer?
Elements and principles.
Elements and principles, correct. Yes, very much so. And also as well, through that is the right color and typography. That is such an important part of a design is having the right color and typography that will really affect how your brand turns out. And if you're pushing a certain brand and you don't have the right color for that brand and then the right font, well, let me say it won't be a very successful brand is what they usually say. So it's very important. So in today's lesson, starting with the basic color theory is what you're going to be learning. So color wheel, harmony rules, color impacts emotions. And in the basic typography, you're going to be learning what fonts are and why they matter. I'm going to be showing that through different font styles and learn simple font pairing techniques. And through both these, you'll be able to create a visual harmony using color and typography together. Starting with the color theory. So there are 3 areas: primary, secondary, and a mixed tertiary. And there is also warm and cool colors. So the warm being yellow to red or to maybe even red violet, and the other side being green to violet. So green to violet is cool colors, yellow to red violet is warm colors. So primary colors is red, yellow, and blue. And to create the secondary colors is mixing the primary colors together. So red and yellow make orange. I think we all learned this in year 1. But and then through that, tertiary colors is mixing primary and secondary colors. So mixing orange with red would create a red-orange color. So within the color theory, These is what we're going to be exploring. You've got some split complementary, normal complementary, um, uh, ones that are right next to each other, triadic, and monochromatic. We're not going to be going into the square and yeah, using four colors, because for a brand, usually using four colors isn't really needed. So for this, we're not actually going to be exploring those two. So complementary is the opposite of the wheel, so being red and green. And they create a high contrast, which means they complement each other. Split complementary is your primary color being, in this situation, red, and you have two adjacent colors that complement the red. And the ones that are next to each other, it creates more harmonious and more calming, and they're linked to each other. So that's in the first section. In the second section, we've got triadic, evenly spaced on the wheel, and it's quite balanced. Don't worry about the middle one. That's the one from before. And monochromatic is different shades and tones and tints of a single color. And that is probably one of the most important ones as well. So these five, yeah, they're very, very important to having a successful brand and to also having a successful design. So onto the color emotions. So we've got, in this situation, red, yellow, orange, and green on this page. So, and each color has a certain impact of emotion, red being energy, passion, and urgency. So with the energy, you would look at the likes of the Marvel style logo being about superheroes, even Coca-Cola, because it's such a famous brand and it's got a lot of urgency and passion towards it as well. And then you've got some urgency in the likes of Band-Aid, and the stop signs and do not enter as well. But also as well, not every color resembles what they say. You've actually got a mix between the two. But this is just a general understanding of what colors usually mean towards an emotion. But for example, if you were to have a brand like Ferrari, you could put that in the category as being passion, as being energy within it as well. So it doesn't always exactly mean what the actual colors say, but this is a general understanding, because this will help a brand as well. So when now onto yellow, you got happiness, optimism, and caution. Caution is another one that can be used in red in terms of stop signs and do not enter. That's why don't take this for a grain of salt. Please take it for what it is, because this is a basic understanding to help you guys create a design. Onto orange, creativity, enthusiasm, warmth, and green, growth and health. So, and these are very, very important to know. Now onto the next page. So blue, black, purple, and white. Blue being trust, calm, and very, very professional. Black being power, sophistication, excuse me. Purple, luxury, creativity, and wisdom, and white, cleanliness, freshness, and simplicity. Black is probably one of them that I actually do think it does play well within fashion. You've got the likes of brands like Gucci, Louis Vuitton, that do play with black and white a lot more. And it's very impactful, even Prada as well. And one of the most famous ones, it's not being fashion, but it's being a campaign, is as the world the world the W- WWF. Um, and that's one of the ones that is a big, just standard black and white um, logo. Does anyone have any questions so far? We okay? Beautiful. So color in design. So you've got high contrast, soft tones, and brand consistency. That is what you need to have a very successful brand or design. Is these certain categories to have high contrast, colors being very very different to each other. So in this situation, this is a UX design, being on the web and being apps, and the red massively stands out to the white, and the white massively stands out to the black. So there's a massive contrast that's going on right then, and the idea um, is to create the viewer's eyes towards what is most important, being, I would say, the map, and being, I would say, earn cash on the move, which is the text. So it's to grab your attention is what it's trying to do. Soft tones are supposed to be calm and relaxed vibes. Um, this is mostly used within more in interior design. So soft tones and relaxed vibes are being couches, in interior walls, and the paint you choose, the carpet you do. You can have some contrast in it too, but as we can see in most modern architecture and most modern interior architecture, it uses a lot of calm and relaxed vibes, which is soft tones. Brand consistency. This is probably the most important one that all of you need to know, and that's to have the same palette everywhere. What that means is to have the same color or color theme, being tones. So Starbucks is a fantastic example of this, being that strong green within their brand, within their main logo, and that is such an impact on what they deliver through their whole brand itself, through their cups, through their aprons, through social media. They just use that green, or they use a certain type of tone of that green, and that is what makes it so massive. Is it's got such a brand consistency about it. Does this all make sense? Is there any questions? All good? Oh, now I want to show you some bad examples of this is more too of the high contrast and brand consistency. This high contrast, this is just you don't really know what's going on. Even though red and green are, let's go back, complementary colors, it doesn't always mean that it's going to work in this kind of situation. This might have been a poster. I'm not 100% sure what this was. But the type with the background color is very hard to see. And yeah, it does not work. If those colors were used within a logo, for example, that could have been used quite successful. But in this situation, it is not. So be careful of how colors can be used, because even though they might be complementary colors, they might not necessarily work as a poster having a green background and red text. Um, it's very, very distracting, and it's hard to read. And if it's hard to read for me, who's got pretty good vision, it's probably hard to read for people that have low vision, and who are they're almost blind, because that's very, very blinding. Oh. Now onto brand consistency. I found this one on the web. I actually found it really funny. This is actually a true brand, a true advertising they tried to do in the States. This was to advertise cherries at a supermarket, and they worked with Hannah Montana. And from this situation, I don't know how Hannah Montana and cherries go together. So that shows brand inconsistency because you can't just slap Miley Cyrus on there and Hannah Montana and make it work with cherries. So yeah, this is a brand inconsistency because you just don't know how they link to each other. Now on to typography. So we got six main ones. Sans serif, serif, handwritten, display, script, and monospaced. Um, Sans serif being and underneath, I've got each of the fonts that I actually used. Yeah, Helvetica, sans serif, very, very famous one. But Bodoni, which is also a big one, but Times New Romans is what most people use. Playpen Sans, most people use the Comic Sans. Yep, Comic Sans. Food Futara for display, that's been one of the biggest ones. Um, Caution Script, that's also used, and Roboto Mono. And what are they used for? Sans serif is to be modern and clean, and is mostly used in websites, apps, and even general graphic design, contemporary branding, and it's easy to read. So that's why most websites use sans serif fonts because they are very, very easy to read, and it's not very difficult to understand and to be able to work your way around a website or an app. Serif is supposed to be traditional and formal, usually used in newspapers and books. It's also used at universities and in firms. And the design is to have a sense of history and trust. Usually serif fonts, if they're used within a logo, they're probably used within a traditional, for example, a traditional pub. They might use a serif logo because they want to show that history of the pub being around since the 1890s. Handwritten, that's very casual, for personal and informal. That's usually used for the kids' activities, casual brands, DIY projects. So it's supposed to be very, very playful. Display is to be bold and dramatic, and they're used for posters, headlines, event flyers, and they are supposed to grab your attention straight away. Script is more for weddings. Yeah, it's elegant, flowing, personal. So a lot of wedding invitations have a use script. And monospace is used for coding actually. So a lot of coding use monospace fonts and yeah, and for retro style uh, brands as well. So font pairing, so grabbing two different fonts together and pairing them, it can create a visual contrast and a hierarchy. It makes designs more interesting without overwhelming the viewer and helps guide the reader's eyes. Any questions so far about the type before I move on?
Lucas,
Mhm.
so would you say that there are particular, my question was, I feel like you've already covered this, but would you say that there definitely are like certain fonts that should be used in relation to like certain categories of design, would you say?
Yes, it's a design's a grey area, but the yes. that is, but not all the time. So you could use a sans serif font that might be moderate and clean, and you might be able to use it in a instead of being on websites and apps and general contemporary branding, you might use that on an event
Yeah.
on like a music event as like the main title. So this is usually they're used in their certain categories, but not all the time, and you can play around with it. And that's something that we'll probably go over next week when we really start digging into actually creating a brand and actually knowing how to design. Yeah, to really to understand it. This is just to give the foundations of what they're generally used for. Probably the one I would probably say usually sticks to its own category is handwritten because it's mostly used in kids' activities, kids' books, DIY projects. That's what that's mainly used for. But even so, there are designers that do like to take it out of that and have been successful with it. But this is just the general rule, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does. Thank you.
All good. So onto font pairing, back onto this. So Um, usually, if two fonts are paired together, not all the time, but usually for a brand, it would have, so for the third one, Lumora Skincare. So Lumora being a different font, and that's like the company name. And then skincare being what they're specialized in, if they're a skincare company or within that field, and that being a different font itself. So Lemora being serif and skincare being sans serif. Um, good good vibes. Yeah, that's very different to each other, and it works out very now well. I'm not sure about the color, to be honest. The background color, it's a bit eye-catching, but the actual types themselves work very well together. Yep. So the font rules is contrast is key, pairing different fonts or even styles. So a serif headline with sans serif text, being that Lumora inspiration that I was talking about before. I've highlighted this, limit your fonts. I've highlighted stick to 2 to 3 fonts maximum, okay? It is important to know that, and it is probably the most important thing to know. Don't use different fonts. Don't use like 4 or 5 fonts that are completely different. It'll make your design look whack. It's too much going on, and it doesn't catch the viewer's eyes whatsoever. It actually is very distracting in a bad way. You can even use one font, and that's something we'll go through as well. Using one font is yeah, using one font has different typefaces within it. So you've got bold, you've got italics, you've got black, you've got thin. A lot of fonts these days have got different variations within that font, well within that typeface. So even sticking to one font and actually using italics, using thin, using bold, that can create a very eye-catching brand as well. So you don't necessarily need to use 2 or 3 fonts, but that's just recommended. I would even recommend two fonts, is max, but the majority of people say the max of 3. I personally say the max of 2, but that's just me. You can use 3 fonts if you want. Just make sure it works well. I've had a fair share of typography through my years studying, and I've seen some designs that use way too many fonts. And when I was a student in my first few years, and I might have fell in that trap as well. And it's not very pretty, I will say. So it creates clear hierarchy, bigger, bolder font for heading, simpler, lighter for body text. uh, different and use different weights. So like I said, the weights of the font is important. So italics, bold, regular, light. Yeah, that is really that's really important to know. So what to avoid? Using fonts that are too similar, because they'll clash. There's no point using two fonts that are pretty much almost identical. If you've got identical fonts, then just use that font's italics, use its boldness, and use all the different categories it's got within that font. Don't just use a font that is pretty much the same as Helvetica, for example. Um, yeah, because there's just no point, and they'll clash. Pairing two very yeah two very just out there fonts, decorative fonts, or two very heavy fonts will make it look messy as well. And overloading the design with too many font styles, like I spoke about, and I will go over it again. It is terrible. So please don't do that. So font pairing. These are my examples that I just did. Oh, excuse me, just got a thing. These are my examples I've done of font pairing. So good pairing and bad pairing. Can someone please say why the good pairing is good?
Is it because there's consistency with the fonts?
Yes. Anyone else?
They're in the same font family.
No.
Okay.
I'll go back and I'll show why. You've got display being good, being the main eye-catching one. And then you've got sans serif being just the general description one usually. That's how it works. So using two different fonts and two different areas, display being the eye-catching, the bold one that's the first thing you want people to look at, and then sans serif down the bottom being more that's like your sub font. So that's what's leading you into what your brand's about. What's bad about the bad pairing? Can anyone say? By the way, I actually think it's not that bad, but still it is classified as being a bad fonts pairing and inconsistent. So can someone say why? No? So bad being within the display, and that being very bold and eye-catching. Pairing being within the display as well, maybe not as bold, but it still is very eye-catching. So they can clash with each other, especially if you're doing a full brand. These fonts together will definitely clash. Maybe not in necessarily as much in this situation, but in a general situation, if you're creating a full brand for yourself and they're your two main typefaces, they will very, very much clash. So, does anyone have any questions so far about the color and about type? Because we've got 7 minutes left. So if anyone's got any questions. Everyone's okay?
Luke, can you just explain what you mean by the same font family then? I'm a little bit confused.
So typeface, so with the font family, so if you've got Helvetica, for example, being this one, you will have you'll have a family within Helvetica. So I learned it as being a family. So that's being you got bold, you got italics, you got thin, you got black, and you've got a whole range within that Helvetica family. So you got your normal Helvetica, which is just your normal standard um, uh, type that you use, but also as well, you've also got italics, bold, thin, black, and the list goes on. So when I talk about having a design that might necessarily just use one font, I'm talking about it that you can use what's in the family as a consistency. So if you want to use, if you have a title, um, let's say it's Brancatella graphic design for me, okay? Um, I would have, and I also use Helvetica. I would have in bold Brancatella or even in black Brancatella, and then I would have underneath graphic designer in just normal Helvetica typeface, if not even thin, just to break that hierarchy up. So that's what I mean by font family. That you've got Helvetica, which is the main family. Then within that family, you've got the kids, if that makes sense, like bold,
Yeah, yeah.
italics. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now I've got homework. Thank you for uploading the homework last week.
Welcome.
But I would like you guys to find a design, business card, poster, website that pairs type and color effectively, and just a description about what you like about it. I've got an example up here that I'll quickly go through. So you've got Rolex. This is a Rolex poster. So its main color consistency, as we can see, is blue. Uh, and that's through the whole, that's even through the watch. The watch face is blue, the sky is blue, the water's blue. So that symbolizes that, okay, there's a certain style that's going on here. And then you've got the type pairing, the main logo being Rolex, which is a very, very different typeface to the slogan underneath being men who guide the destinies of the world wear Rolex watches. From this color palette, and I can automatically know that, okay, the watch, the color being blue and everything, I know that this watch is waterproof by just automatically seeing it. Even if it didn't have that splash of water and it just had a genuine base on it, with no splash, I could still know that this is about this watch being waterproof. So there's a consistency that is going on here, a type and a color consistency, and it works quite well. So there's an example. Does anyone have any questions? All good. Beautiful. Next week, branding basics, understanding the brand identity, exploring logo types, and building consistency across designs. That's what we'll be going to next week. So really going into how to bring type and color really together to really create a great brand and to also learn how to actually create a logo. And that's it. And thank you for today. This was surprisingly a long session too. So I was glad I was able to smash out color and type together. What did you learn today? And do you have any suggestions for me? I've already got one suggestion for myself, and that means I probably should next program break up color and type into different weeks because there's so much to explore. But did you guys learn anything?
No, I think it was really good, Lucas, to understand how the fonts and your choice of font is actually really important to the design as a whole. I never really thought about it like that, but seeing all the different examples and different fonts that we used, it is actually very evident how it makes a real difference.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to be more mindful of that moving forward. So thank you.
That's all right, all good. And any other questions? I hope my microphone and webcam's good, guys. Yeah, it was working beautifully today, so I was pretty happy.
Yeah, it was very clear. It worked really well.
All right, good. Any more questions, even about color? But before I go, less than a minute. All good?
No, yeah, no questions. It's just I thought it was pretty like good to like learn the different emotions that colors kind of hold.
Yep.
You never
Beautiful.
really think of it like that.
Yes. Fantastic. Well, we've probably got like 10 seconds to go, so I'll let you guys go, but thank you for session 2, and I can't wait for next Tuesday at the same time.
Thanks, Lucas.
All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.